Hi everyone, welcome back to Good Evening KU. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Makai, and today we have a very special guest with us today.
This is Chloe. I actually adopted her from the Lawrence Humane Society.
Okay, how'd you find out about the Humane Society?
Well, I found out about it just because I've just heard about it just around Lawrence and especially in my class. And I always knew I wanted to get a cat. And whenever I went to their website, I saw her. And I just knew that she was like the perfect cat, right?
She's the cutest.
Yeah. And so basically I just set up a Zoom call with with an adoption lady. And I actually picked her up that same day, just a couple hours later.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, she's the cutest. She's so adorable.
She actually, she is a whole handful. I'll be sitting in class and she'll just step on and walk across my computer. And she always jams the keyboards. And then sometimes I get exited out of Zoom. So if any of my teachers wonder where I'm at, it's because of Chloe.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, are you excited for KU football this weekend?
Yeah. Who are they playing?
They're playing West Virginia this weekend, coming
shoot.
off of a bye week. So they had a whole week to get their stuff together. So hoping that we come out strong.
Speaking about this weekend, what did you do this weekend?
Oh, I had a fantastic weekend. My boys brought home the ship. Shout out to LeBron and them boys. Let's go. It's his fourth ship. So looking forward for next season already. What about you?
I didn't do much this weekend. I worked a lot, and then I also had her to take care of. Right now, her favorite toy is actually a pine cone.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's unique.
I bought her all these toys, and she just wants to play with the pine cone, or she wants to eat my hair. It's either one.
That's awesome.
What are you doing, Chloe?
And there she goes.
She's off. All right. Thank you, everybody. Now we're going to throw the news to Jenna and Andrew.
Yeah, I always just clap in this part.
This is where everyone's talking amongst themselves. Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to do it?
Are we supposed to smile?
When do we start? Somebody over here already started.
Can we talk about the piccolo part? It's the most complicated one.
It is.
If you listen, you're doing it when the band's not playing.
You have to tell me when it starts. I still don't know.
Here we go.
Just clapping now.
No humps. Nailed it.
I practiced this morning.
Karma's just two people.
It has a right and a wrong way of doing it. No. Wrong.
I like my way better.
I don't know how to
1,
do
2,
the
3,
end.
4.
It's just I don't know the head.
It's hard by yourself.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Good Evening KU. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Jenna, and we are here with your weekly news update. People all over the country are still very conflicted about President Trump's nomination of Amy Coney Barrett for the vacant Supreme Court position.
The confirmation hearing for Barrett continued for the second day today. According to CNN, questions range from her stance in the Affordable Care Act to the unlawful killing of George Floyd.
The confirmation hearing continues tomorrow, with coverage being shown on most national news networks. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has stated that he plans to vote Barrett out of committee by October 22nd, leaving the floor vote to take place on the 23rd or later.
As you all know, yesterday was Columbus Day, or Indigenous Peoples Day, and many people across the nation were not happy about it.
Protesting is still happening right before us. According to CNN, protesters in Portland pulled down statues of former presidents Abraham Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt. They even vandalized businesses Sunday evening in wake of what's known as Indigenous Peoples Day of Rage.
Police describe this event as having a connection to racial justice, but the violence and criminal destruction is having a huge impact on the community.
In terms of our local community here in Lawrence, some city leaders want the Lawrence Police Department to consider increasing enforcement after years of significant decline in traffic tickets. According to the Lawrence World Journal, Lawrence have seen an 80% decrease in the amount of traffic citations between 2010 and 2019.
The Lawrence World Journal attributes this massive decline to the discontinuation of traffic enforcement by the Lawrence Police Department back in 2012. City officials are now looking into comprehensive studies to help inform potential changes in all areas of police operations.
If there is one thing we can say about the coronavirus pandemic, it's that it's leaving everyone drained, teachers and students included. According to the Wichita Eagle, there has been recent news discussing how online teachers in Kansas are feeling overworked and quitting their jobs.
Public schools are asking a lot from teachers in this strange school year, as they are attempting to teach themselves and their students ways to navigate remote learning, which has proved to be challenging. Learning new technology and making sure students are on the same page with their own devices has not been an easy task for Kansas teachers.
I think all of us are struggling with online classes this year. Hopefully this issue will be fixed very soon, maybe even by next semester.
Speaking of the pandemic, The Batman resumed filming yesterday after leading actor Robert Pattinson tested positive for COVID-19. Are you a Batman fan, Jenna?
Yes, of course. Honestly, who isn't? Unfortunately, though, it will be a while before we are able to catch Pattinson in a full Batman action, as the release date for the film was pushed back 5 months into March of 2022. Added to the list of things COVID has managed to postpone this year.
Before we go, Jenna, did you hear about that fifth grader in Bennington that prevented a house fire?
No, a fifth grader prevented a house fire?
Yes. According to KWCH News, Clayton Schamberg, a fifth grader at Bennington Elementary School, passed by a home with a smoke alarm going off while he was riding his bike to school. After realizing the house was empty, he immediately took action and called for help. The Ottawa County Fire District presented him with a certificate of appreciation.
That's amazing. How's that for a little Tuesday pick-me-up? Anyways, I think that's all we have time for today. We'll be back with the sports update from Reese and Ciro after the break.
Welcome back. I'm Reese. I'm joined by my partner Ciro here, and it has happened. The NBA season has concluded over 12 months after it started. Hard to believe, huh?
It's crazy to believe, especially with this pandemic happening and us having almost a 4-month break from basketball and sports in general to now in a time of year where basketball would be just starting again. It just ended, and what a final was that?
For what we thought we were going to get from the Heat coming in, that was an incredible performance. I can't stress incredible enough. Jimmy Butler, take a bow. You put on one of the greatest finals showings ever in a losing effort. But what did you see from the Heat that stood out to you the most?
That stood out to the most was that they had 7 players on their team score double-digit points. Okay, they had 9 players in total play minutes in their game. 7 out of those 9 had double-digit figures compared to the Lakers, who only had 3, and 2 of those were in the 20s, meaning that literally the entire Heat's game plan was to spread the ball around and space the floor and get as many players involved into the game plan, which was something we haven't seen in a while in the NBA. It's usually just isolation and certain players dominating games with role players around them.
You're absolutely correct. It's the thing that surprised me maybe the most of all the people in double figures, Kelly Olynyk, the big stretch center out of Gonzaga. When he was on the court, the Heat actually outscored the Lakers substantially. But what surprised me the most was how little Spoelstra went to that lineup when Bam returned. I was thinking more of a Bam Adebayo at the 4, Kelly at the 5. Do you have a reason why they might not have went to that lineup?
I think more of the reason comes down to Bam wasn't at 100%. Bam had this shoulder injury, and I think when they saw that their biggest problem was rebounding and trying to match up against the Los Angeles Lakers' size, as they had a bigger size against the Heat. And with that being said, is they couldn't go with that lineup because they weren't able to rebound. As you saw, Kelly Olynyk's not a rebounding guy. He's a guy who's going to spot up, shoot threes, and maybe give you some good defense. But besides that, he's not going to get you the boards like somebody of Bam Adebayo's caliber.
And that's enough of the Heat, the great effort they put up. Let's talk about the champions. They were the favorites going into the season. Well, with the other Los Angeles team, I think they were mutual favorites. But the Lakers performed exceptionally well outside of maybe You could argue maybe Game 5, which LeBron was really the only one who showed up for. But still, that was an incredible performance. And did you enjoy watching LeBron turn back the clock and not only the first part of the series, but Game 6 looked like 2012 LeBron again?
It was pretty impressive to see that LeBron was able, for a team that actually shot worse than the Heat, were able to just be so much more dominant on the board. Just the game looked like we weren't watching basketball played in 2020. Like you said, it looked like we were watching basketball played in 2012. Isolations, rebounds, who's hustling more for the boards, who's going to get the loose balls. That's what it came down to. And LeBron just showed that he was better than Jimmy Butler and his team was better than the Heat's team through just their play style and just their use of fundamentals.
And the Lakers don't win that series if they don't get the contributions they did from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He stepped up in a huge way. Games 1 through 6, every single game, KCP was their third most reliable option. Going into the season, well, when the season started, they thought it would be DeMarcus Cousins, but that never came to fruition.
Yeah.
But if you would have told somebody, first of all, if you would have told somebody in October, we'd still be playing the 2019-2020 season in October of 2020, they would have called you crazy.
Yeah.
But if you would have said KCP is the third best player on the Lakers at that point, they would have looked at you astonished. Like, what led to KCP's breakout performance?
It came down to Kyle Kuzma not showing up. Kuzma did show up at certain plays, had hustle plays, especially during this finals, but throughout the bubble and the playoff bubble, Kyle Kuzma wasn't there. He's supposed to be the guy that LeBron kept in that mega trade with Lonzo, Brandon Ingram from almost a year back. And Kyle Kuzma didn't show up. He did have some hustle plays, but somebody had to pick up the scoring, and that was split between not only KCP, but as well Marquise Morris being the only player besides Anthony Davis and LeBron James in that series to shoot 40% from the three-point. So it's pretty apparent that somebody had to pick up the slack that Kuzma, being a youngling, didn't have. So with KCP being in his almost 8th season now, he came out. He showed why he was a former first-round pick and why it has a place in this league.
Not only that, they also relied a lot on Rajon Rondo. He had a great series. And Dwight Howard, talking about turning back the clock, did we see 2008 Dwight Howard in this series?
We did see a little bit until the Heat were able to negate his ability against the glass. As you saw, Bam Adebayo kept attacking him on those screen switches when they did pick and rolls because, as you know, Dwight Howard isn't the most quickest laterally player. And when they would switch that up, Bam Adebayo would attack the rim or they would have Kendrick Nunn attack the rim. So as you saw, he only averaged about 11.8 minutes compared to a playoff where he's averaging about 24 minutes per game. So with that being said, it came down that they actually had to take him out of the game because when he was in the game, he was somewhat dominant. But when Bam came back in the game, he actually saw his weakness was he can't be laterally quick against other players on the pick and roll.
Certainly. So going into next season, this season's over. Let's close the book on it. Next chapter. Where do you see the Heat going? Personally, I don't see the Heat doing much this offseason. I think they're the favorites in the 2021 offseason for Giannis Antetokounmpo if he leaves Milwaukee. I would say that if he leaves Milwaukee, Miami and Toronto have to be option 1A and 1B. And just because it's Miami, that's my 1A. Where do you see them going this offseason?
That offseason, I don't know. I think the thing is that how you said they want to bring in Giannis as that's something Pat Riley likes to do. But Pat Riley, as you've seen, likes that size, likes the length. And with the NBA draft coming up, there's two players. One, the man who played over in New Zealand, R.J. Hampton, being 6'5", equipped with a 6'7" wingspan, possessing the length and the lateral quickness to play guard players on the perimeter, while also the other prospect that I could see as they need a power forward, as you saw that the player next to Bam Adebayo, there isn't really one. There's no one who's really successful.
Almost a gaping hole.
Exactly, it's a gaping hole they need, and they need someone who can spread the floor but protect the rim. And that is Alexei Pokovetsky coming out of Greece, 7'2", 190-pound center who plays like a guard.
Oh, and in an era of positionless basketball, he fits in perfectly on that team. You couldn't ask for anything better. The Lakers this offseason, they probably need a third star, whether that be Buddy Hield, make some moves for DeMar DeRozan, or even just settle for a lesser, maybe not even star, Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't think the Lakers make a first-round pick this year. I think that first-round pick goes in a trade, albeit if it is Sacramento, San Antonio, somewhere in there. But I just don't see them making a first-round pick this year. And if I had to say right now, I think Buddy Hield is going to be a Los Angeles Laker when the season starts. What are you thinking about that?
I would love to see Buddy Hield just because they need a shooter. And, you know, we don't know who that's going to be. So they need a third star. So I don't think they'll
And
draft either.
You couldn't draw it up better than having Buddy Hield off the ball with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That would be insane. Before we go, it's early. I know that. Who's winning the NBA Finals in 2021?
I'd probably say the Los Angeles Lakers have the best chance.
No, I definitely agree. There's no way that the Lakers can't be the favorites right now. We'll catch you later. We're going to Tom with the weather after this break.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back with the weather update. Adrian is not here today, but I'm Tom and I've got you covered. It's about 5 o'clock on the Lawrence campus. We're right outside Stauffer Flint Hall. The high today was 79. It dropped to 77 right now. It's a sunny day. There's about no clouds in the sky. There's lots of students still around the campus. As you can see behind me, the buses are still going. There's lots of students. That is the weather update today. The high is 79. The low is 50. Back to the studio with Maki and Gabby.
Start a segment of really bad cat jokes.
Alrighty. Starting with, what do you call a cat wearing shoes?
I have no idea.
A puss in boots. Yeah.
That
Okay.
is so, that was literally the worst one.
Probably
and
the
it's
worst
first
one, and it's the first one. But there's more. There's more. Why do cats always get their way?
Because they're brats.
Because they're very persuasive.
Nobody's laughing.
Okay. I thought that was pretty cool. So what sports do cats play?
I have no idea.
Hairball. No? Nothing?
No.
Okay, all right. Last one. What do cats like to eat on a hot day?
I have no idea.
No answers.
Is this the last one?
A mice cream cone.
If she brought home a mice, I would be pretty upset.
Mice might bring her home.
Yeah.
And that was it on our segment of bad cat jokes.
All right, thank you for watching.